Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. And this video's a little bit different. You might not have realised this, but guess what guys? Next month, this game's going to be 6 months old. That's right, it's going to be the half anniversary of Street Fighter Duel. Are they going to mark this? I don't know. I honestly do not know if they are going to announce this, okay? Because, not announce this, sorry, if they're going to celebrate this. Because this game doesn't really do things the way that most games do things, right? A lot of games, when they do things like download milestones, they give you codes and they celebrate it in game. This game hasn't really done that. Every gacha I've ever played does a 6 month anniversary, but from speaking and stuff to like Dino and that, I don't actually think they're going to celebrate it. Maybe we'll get a throwaway code or something, but I'm not expecting any like big event or anything to celebrate the half anniversary, which I find unusual. Let me know in the comments down below if you find that unusual. Like I say, every gacha I've played usually does do like a half anniversary, but maybe that's just me. Let me know if your experience is different with that in the comments down below. But in advance of this, I thought it would be interesting to have a look back at my journey on this game so far, and mainly I'm really going to talk about two periods very early on in the game, right? I'm going to bring up a video first of all, which surprisingly was the 7th video I made on Street Fighter, right? So super early on, and it was this video, and I actually think this is where I started to generate the Hayzink, you're negative point of view from some people, okay? Look at the title. This will be a huge mistake and players will quit the game. Now this was a video that I put out cautioning against making the game too pay to win. This was talking about back when it was going to be impossible, if not very difficult, for free-to-play players to actually get a usable copy of whatever Monster Hunter can. And during that video I said, I understand that it might be a little bit too early to do anything about this, but going forward I would expect you to not do this again, and I would expect you to learn from the community feedback, which I knew you were going to get. So this video came out, I think, about a week before the event dropped. A lot of people thought I was just making this stuff up and it wasn't going to happen. It happened exactly as I said it was going to happen, and exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. We had players leaving, players quitting, players refunding. If you were there during Monster Hunter Ken Gate, that's what we'll call it, the first big incident, a lot of the top whales at the time refunded all their purchases. There was a mass amount of refunding that happened, okay? And honestly, I actually thought that was good. The reason that I thought that was good was because I thought to myself, do you know what? Now they know. They're not going to do that again. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Not only did they not learn from that, they doubled down on it in a lot of ways. They took units who were supposed to be free and made them masters or infernos. No, sorry, they took units that were supposed to be legends and they made them masters or infernos. They took units that were supposed to be free, made them into legends. They put basic units like Akuma and made them into limited time summons. They took legends like Ryu, who were supposed to be legends, and they made them into limited time summons, which, as you guys know by now, are very hard to acquire. But you can acquire them free to play. Now, obviously, some people think that that's good because free to play players can't buy legends. Well, Evil Ryu, for example, ended up being available in a shop that you could, over time, get them for free. So simply being a legend wasn't enough to shut off units from being free to play. After this, a couple of days after this, I made another video, this one, which is called Aggressive Monetization Overload. Man, do I like to rant when they add a new gacha. This was because they had started to add in vehicle summons, and they had added in divination summons, like as in the tarot event where you could buy cards. And as we all know, I said then, look guys, stop adding in all of these different systems. Every 5 minutes when I load up this game, there is some kind of new currency, some kind of new event where there's ways for people to spend money. Again, I cautioned against it. I says, don't do this, don't continue to do this, you're just going to drive off players. No one listened. At this time, I kind of had their attention a little bit, and the reason I say I had their attention a little bit is not to drag up old history. This was during the whole thing with me and Dino, so I was on the radar a little bit and people knew that I was saying certain things, and I said don't do it, just don't do it, and unfortunately they continued to do it. They continued to add in more and more summoning systems, more and more currencies, more and more ways to pay to win, and we now fast forward to being 1 month away from the 6-month anniversary, and to be honest, the game has a player base now that is lower than it should be, okay? Now, all games with time have a natural, I want to say, erosion of their player base, where you will lose players, right? But you'll gain new players. Maybe you don't gain as many players as you lose, but you kind of stay in a nice, healthy balance. Unfortunately, I don't feel like Street Fighter's found that balance. They've kind of left themselves in a state that they're losing players faster than they're gaining players, which is unfortunate. And as we approach the 6-month anniversary, everything that I kind of cautioned against at the start is still there. It's still existing. Now, why am I talking about this now? Well, I'm talking about this now because there has been discussions behind the scenes. Now, I'm not privy to those discussions. I don't know the outcome of them. I don't know what's going to happen, but finally it seems as though people are starting to listen, and there's been suggestions made to the developers to improve the game, talking about things like adding in the pity system. Well, the pity system exists, it's just absolutely ridiculous, but adding in the pity system, making it better, adding in more rewarding rewards. Does that work? Yeah, well, whatever. Right, but adding in better rewards for players and stuff like that, and trying to turn things around. And to be honest, for me, I feel like the 6-month anniversary would be the perfect time to implement that. Kind of almost a relaunch, a soft relaunch, so to speak, where you introduce things like the pity system. If you're going to do better rewards, open up the guild so that people can join guilds a little bit more freely, things like that. While the game probably will never reach the heights that it should as a Street Fighter IP, it still has the opportunity to keep the player base it's got happy and potentially introduce new players to come in and play the game. Now, I put out a video asking for people's opinions, and I'm probably going to record that tomorrow, talking about what people think needs to be done to retain players or win players back or whatever. For me, I think adding in pity, honestly, it needs to be 6. If it's any more than 6, I feel like it's not really good enough because of the amount of units that we need and stuff like that. But that itself isn't enough. They can add in more rewards, but again, the rewards are always going to be weighted more to the pay to win type players. So again, it's probably not going to be enough to keep the general player base happy. So they would need to find a way to expand the rewards to include more lower level players, I want to say. They need to do things like introducing the factional towers for people to have more ways of gaining currency, introduce things like the gear, the SSS gear. They need to hurry up and pull the trigger on that so that people can have access to things like the SSS gear and try and make their teams a little bit better without constantly relying on new units. Stuff like that. They need to do things like testing more, making sure that they're not releasing things with translation errors and bugs and all these stealth fixes and stuff like that, and getting better with communication. They have time, I want to say, not a lot of time, but they have time. They have but a month and a half until they hit the 6-month anniversary. They could work on all this, and they could essentially possibly time the collab that's planned and release that on the 6-month point, and release all of these quality of life features at the same time to essentially soft launch the game. There's going to be a lot of new eyeballs on the game if it does the collab that is supposed to be happening via the data files. When those new players come in, if they see that there's a summoning system that has a fixed pity, if maybe it has a mileage on it, you know, like do X amount of summons, you can claim one of the units like we did with Monster Hunter Ken. If they do that, then it might make the game a lot more welcoming, and going from the 6-month anniversary to the 1-year anniversary, it could be like playing a totally different game, okay? Do I think that's going to happen? The pessimist in me says no, but I'm trying to be a lot more optimistic, and I'm trying to look at things in a better light. So I want to say maybe, maybe it will happen. I hope it will happen. We just have to cross our fingers and see. But anyway, guys, next month is going to be the 6-month anniversary of Street Fighter Duel. If you would like to see the game marked with some sort of a celebration, let them know in the Discord. Like, say, what are we doing? Just ask, what are we doing for the 6-month anniversary next month? Is there anything planned? Maybe naively, they haven't thought that people would expect something. All I would say is, traditionally speaking, anniversaries within gacha games tend to be a time for giving, is what I want to say. Players tend to get high value banners, maybe a free unit, you know, that type of stuff. My personal opinion would be, while it's leaving money on the table, I think there would be no better way to mark the 6-month anniversary than launching Fashion Ryu or Fashion Ken. Do it free to play, same way as Blanca, and let everyone in the game have probably one of, being it Ryu or Ken, the most iconic characters in the game for free. I think that would be the perfect anniversary gift to give to players, to try to start winning players back over who maybe have left, to make new players joining the game happy. I think it would be a fantastic thing to do, and I think it's something that they should seriously consider doing for the anniversary. So if you like that idea, let me know in the comments down below, let them know in the Discord, let me know what you think. Anyway guys, I've been Hayzink, just wanted to look back and basically say that despite at the time me being the only one who was speaking about these problems and these issues, which, to be honest, I can't really judge the other content creators for. It's their choice. They made a different style of content. Pain wasn't making content at that point. But I wish if everyone had kind of got on the same page as me and spoke about what was happening and what needed to happen moving forward, maybe there would have been a lot less, I don't know. Give it time. Give it time. You're judging it too early. You're judging things too early. Maybe I was judging things too early, but ultimately I was right, and they had to course correct then. And if they did course correct then, I think we could be sitting on a completely different game right now. And I still think there's hope. I do. I really, really do. And despite now there not being as many people making content on the game, the people that do make content on the game do talk about the problems and do talk about things that have to get fixed. It's just, I'm not sure the devs even listen to us anymore, to be honest. I hope they do. I really hope they do. But I just want to see the game from the... I mean, if it could happen now, it would be fantastic. But from 6-month point onwards, introduce these systems, man. Give us pity. Make things more rewarding. Better events that give better rewards for everyone, not just for 2-3 people at the top of a server. Just do it now. Do it now. You make the game better. You make us all happier. And the next 6 months of Street Fighter Duel would be fantastic. Anyway, guys, Hayzink, trip down memory lane. Me just showing that I'm not just a negative Nancy. I wanted the game to get better back then. Still want the game to get better back now. Back now? Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, fun diversion. Catch you in the next one. Peace.